Amazon has been refreshing their lineup. The Scribe was announced, the Oasis 4 got leaked on Amazon.com, a 16GB variant of the Paperwhite 5 came out. They certainly have been releasing and re-releasing some interesting things as of late. This is just another step in the right direction. This is the all-new Kindle, aka the Kindle Basic. It's a 6-inch display with 300 ppi, adjustable front light, a more refined battery, and USB-C. It also has 2 colors at launch, black and blue denim, which is the one they sent us today. There's something else important about this latest release, in that it is more ecologically conscious than its previous units. 75% post-consumer recycled plastics in the black device, 30% in the denim color, and 90% recycled magnesium utilized in the electrical components. This is to coincide with what Kobo is doing with the 2E, sporting over 85% recycled plastics utilized in the body construction. So let's dive into this amazing e-reader, starting with the UI. So in terms of the UI, they're not bringing anything new to the table in that regard. It is very much just a Kindle. In fact, if you update your older Kindles to the latest model, typically they will look like this. So you have a drop down up top. You'll have airplane mode, Bluetooth, settings, sync, and dark mode. Dark mode flips the entire thing to dark mode. They actually advertise that on the box. Bluetooth is a tricky situation because if you register this in certain markets outside of the US when you start it up, this will actually not be there. Even though Bluetooth is physically in the unit, that Bluetooth function will be gone, and there'll just be a straight line of 4 things, everything except Bluetooth. So you have to make sure you note that. We'll show you brightness at the very end of the video. You can collapse that. Over here is your settings. You have a quick drop down of some things: Goodreads, Amazon Kids, web browser settings. If you go to settings, you get all your typical settings here. Again, this will be different as well depending on the market you're in, because Wi-Fi and Bluetooth will be gone and certain things will be under device options, and some will have advanced options and some won't. So this is all just going to come down to where you register it. If you click here, you can update your Kindle, restart, reset, and device info. If you click on device info, this will be the latest update, so take note of what it says on the screen here, and you can click on what's new, and it'll tell you the kids ebook store, WPA3 support, safety feature and charging port, etc. We'll get into all this, and we will be doing a separate video on the kids ebook store so they can submit requests to their parents, etc. So the settings are very much business as usual, everything from reading options, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, page refresh, etc. You get parental controls, accessibility. We covered all this on our YouTube channel if you want to go over there and check it out. If you click on the top right here, you go over to the store. You can access any store from anywhere based on how you start your device. So for example, we are in Japan right now, and although some of our devices we put our Japanese store on, amazon.co.jp, we're accessing the American store just because everything's in English. You can toggle between Kindle and Audible. Because this does have Bluetooth on it, Audible will show up. You can click on something like that. It'll take you over to the buying decision. You can buy it for $0. This one particular is $0. You have an Audible trial. You can cancel anytime. You got to be careful of the small print. You can buy it as a one-off for $26.90, or you can actually get samples depending on what you click on. If you go over to the Kindle, you can click on a book from here. This will be ebooks, so make sure you're toggled correctly on those. Try a sample is right there. Redeem a code and add to list. If you scroll down, you get all the information from customer reviews and product details, ISBN, where it's sold from, etc. If you go back to the home screen here, you can actually scroll up and down. So these will be everything. Most of this is actually the store. This is yours. These 3.25 books, those are yours. That's the store, and everything else will be the store. It's all recommendations, what's in the Kindle store, try Kindle Unlimited, most wished for Kindle books. It's all going to be stuff that is from the actual Amazon store. So a lot of this is just going to be their unit rather than it being your unit. You can click on here to go to your library. From here you can sort, and you can change some things like list view, collections view. I like grid view because it shows the actual thumbnail. You can alter it by title, author, publication date. If you click on something, it opens right up. We will be doing an actual comparison between this and the Paperwhite, but if you guys wanted a little bit of a peek of how much bigger or smaller it is respectively, there it is. You can see the bottoms are lined up. It is significantly bigger. It kind of sounds the same, 6.8, but it's not. It's quite bigger in terms of overall screen real estate. Now, you do have no quick turn engine on here, because if you long press, it's just going to long press. So much like on the previous devices or ones like the Oasis with physical page turn buttons, you can hold the side. This one you can't. You can tap the side to go fast, but it isn't actually the quick page turn engine moved over from the Manga model or anything like that, and it doesn't do chapter jump like the Barnes & Noble, so it's a little bit limiting. If you tap the top, you can change your text up here. You get different ways to do themes. You can do font. Everything changes live in the background as well. You can see there. Kindle is on the faster side of things when it comes to changing everything for what it's going to look like. You can embolden, or you can take that away, and you get different fonts right here. If you go back, you can do layout options, which includes orientation, landscape, portrait. You can do spacing and margins, and if you go to more, you get some reading progress, book mentions, etc. Going back to long press, if we long press on something, you get highlight, note, and share, or you can go over here to do report content error. If you're down here, you can actually swipe over to translation. Translation is going to be really cool because you can choose any language to any language you see on the drop down menu, and it'll instantly translate via Bing. You do need Wi-Fi or internet of some sort to do this, or else it won't work. But what's good about that is you can box a whole bunch of stuff and still translate it, which is really cool because it breaks down language barriers. If you're here, you can do swiping like so. Click out of there. You can swipe the pages to turn pages. It's overall pretty quick, and it does have a 300 ppi screen, so it's very dense. And it's a good combination. It's sunken screen and bezel, not flush. 6 inches with a 300 ppi screen. You really can't get better than that currently in the market. There's just no combination of things you can do to get better. If you go over to X-Ray, this is all of your X-Ray information. You can click the video card up above if you want to see more about X-Ray, but it basically tells you people, terms, images, and if you click on something, you can actually see how many times they were mentioned. Click on something and completely just navigate right through the book over to that page. You can go back or actually stay here and continue reading, and it'll highlight what the character's name is. Unlike the ebook experience, you actually do get the rapid page turn engine from the Manga model on Manga. And what it is actually a guide of your finger, and you can actually slow down or speed up as you see fit in order to change the pages at your discretion. So if I want to hover it in the middle and say, where am I on the page? Oh yeah, I need to go further. So I'm going to go level 1 and slowly proceed through the book and stop, and maybe I can speed all the way back to the beginning. And it's really good. And it triggers the only time that this can go into an A2 mode is rapid page turn or pinch and zoom. Those are the only times Amazon can be forced into an A2 mode. Other than that, there is no system-wide A2 mode control. You can do pinch and zooms like this. You don't get a mini-map that actually has a thumbnail, but you do get an overall kind of skeleton outline right there, so it does show you where you are on the page, but it would have been nice to actually put a thumbnail of where page you're on. But honestly, with the overall pixel density, you don't need to pinch and zoom all that much. It is quite a nice experience. If you want to really appreciate the artist's detail, you can go like that, but it isn't necessary overall. Amazon, depending on the market you're in, does have a wide manga selection, so it is quite nice to have this unit dedicated for manga. And remember that Manga model was a release from Amazon exclusive to Japan that they actually pulled a lot of things from for this unit years later. If you're on a manga on an Amazon and you double tap a cell, nothing happens. Let's think you're gonna interact with it and try to turn pages, but that actually doesn't happen on graphic novels. More of an American delivery of manga, which is comic books and graphic novels. You can see here they actually give you the ability to read the entire thing as is, just like the manga experience, or go into guided view or panel view, and it actually cuts out each individual cell. That's really interesting. And you can double tap to get out, and you still have the ability to pinch and zoom. So it's really a completely different delivery than manga, and they're both completely different on this unit. So manga will not allow you to do that, but graphic novels purchase from the store, download it from the store, will. And things like these that look better portrait, certain things will look better in landscape, and you can actually twist your device left and right to change it based off of software in order to cater it to your liking. Magazines and newspapers are really nice too. So something like The Onion, for example, what they do is they actually put everything into article mode. And what I mean by that is it doesn't actually look like a typical magazine. If I click on something like that, they'll give you a lead-in image, the overall title, and then it's just in article mode. They basically just give you an ebook delivery of the actual news article or magazine article. And this is because they actually don't have the full-blown PDF magazine on these units, because this is primarily an ebook reader. So they actually don't give you that experience, but it is nice, and the store up top will have an adequate amount of selection when it comes to magazines and newspapers. When it comes to the glow light, they did the best they could. They couldn't add a warm light because then there would be overlap with their devices in their lineup. It wouldn't make any sense. So what they did is they added a simple glow light. It isn't that blue, but the full power is quite intense. It's very, very illuminated and a little bit more than you would feel comfortable with. Now this time they don't have a max setting. You can't go beyond the actual max setting, which is kind of nice. And unlike other of their competitors like Kobo, for example, it actually changes when you swipe it. With Kobo, if you swipe it, it won't change until you let go. Then it will actually change. Overall, the distribution is fine, although it is quite bright. There is no spilling or anything like that. E-readers technically don't use front light anymore in the traditional sense. The LEDs are actually built into the gel layer that illuminate the screen. It actually doesn't shine down on the front, so if you tilt it, you can actually find right there, there's the LEDs at the very bottom. They're kind of hard to see. They're not at the top, they're not at the side. You can very well tell they're right down there, the little illuminated spots. But overall, it's a very good glow light experience, and it's the best they could do without adding warm light and light sensors and auto sensors and everything else, because you can't do that on a device like this. Amazon doesn't necessarily blaze the trails. They sit back and wait to see what their competitors do, and then they typically do it better. This is no exception. This is an amazing package at only $120. It has everything you're going to need and more. It seems that the gap between the Paperwhite and the basic line is getting smaller and smaller by the day. It's only a matter of time before the basic line gets a warm light and a bigger screen to put the Paperwhite at risk of becoming something of the past. For GoodEReader.com, this is Peter.